Coming up in NBN News, toxic culture exposed for Hunter Ambo boss after he allegedly sent a lot of foul, offensive slurs. Meanwhile, Silverchair frontman Daniel Johns avoids a full-time jail term over a car crash. And Singleton braces for a lot of trying times ahead. Following the fear rises with floods. That's up next on NBN. Good evening, my name's Conklin McLeod with NBN News. Tonight, toxic culture exposed. The Hunter Ambo boss revealed that he sent a lot of foul slurs. Silverchair frontman Daniel Johns avoids jail over a crash that occurred right up at the Pacific Highway north of Newcastle. And Singleton in the Hunter avoids tries to brace with tough times ahead as a lot of fear rises with floods. Also tonight, a record sale as the towers in the Hunter are approved. But first, an unfair dismissal case has blown the lid on the toxic culture inside the Hunter's ambulance service, exposing homophobic slurs, inappropriate conduct, and discrimination. For more than 2 years, everyone has known on the implosion of management in the Hunter arm of New South Wales Ambulance following the resignation of and dismissal of a host and senior staff amid several internal investigations. Now, an unfair dismissal claim lodged by former duty operations manager Brian Knowles, who was based at Hamilton and claimed to be the victim of a New South Wales ambulance witch hunt, was given insight into the toxic culture Hunter paramedics have complained about for years, and a warning: the story contains strong coarse language. Following a 4-day hearing, the New South Wales Industry Relations Commission found that Knowles was justifiably sacked in August 2021 after breaching the New South Wales Health's Code of Conduct over a period of more than 3 years. Knowles was also found to have acted unethically when he helped his manager, Kerry Axter, get into an Elton John concert in January 2020 at Hope Estate in the Hunter Valley without a ticket. Knowles admitted to making a mistake after multiple requests by Miss Axter to get her name put out on the guest list at the concert while he was working as the event forward commander. Miss Akesta and her husband Robert Asker, both New South Wales Ambulance Hunter-based zone area managers, resigned in May 2020 amid internal investigations. Knowles admitted sending disgusting emails and texted denigrating colleagues to Mr. Akesta, who was at the time was one of the most senior paramedics in the Hunter, charged with overseeing ambulance stations across Newcastle and Lake Macquarie. In the communications between mid-2016 and early 2020, for which the Commission heard Miss Aquesta did not discourage, Knowles referred to the groups of colleagues is that bunch of crew, and he went even further to describe individual as a doing all vomit idiot, and also knowing nothing about anything and annoying as. Also, send it to him when you throw punch him. Just have to push Jeff down the stairs, going to throw punch him and arrange a meeting between him and Pickering. That were among other messages. Knowles admitted sending the emails and texts, but said he could not recall them as they were private exchanges that were not shared. The veteran paramedic with 17 years experience said when he completed the ambulance management training in 2010, he was taught to vent upwards when frustrated, and said it was our manager's role to listen. Then, Knowles was also found to have engaged in misconduct in July 2017. When he asked Miss Aquesta for answers to questions in a recruitment process, and of course this answer came above. Would you have anything in your vast array of job applications that will reflect the questions for job application? If you do, would you mind forwarding to me, because I can't be trying to make up some answer. Knowles is expected to be stood down tomorrow. Former Silverchair Prime Man Daniel Johns has escaped a full-time jail term over a case of high-range drink driving that led to a crash after he drove in the wrong direction along the Pacific Highway. Raymond Terrace local court heard on Wednesday that Johns had a dominant relationship with alcohol and had been self-medicating with it. When the smash occurred, he was 3 times the legal limit at the time. Magistrate Ian Chittum sentenced a 43-year-old to a 10-month intensive corrections order, disqualified him from driving for 7 months, and ordered that he be subject to an alcohol interlock system in his vehicle for 2 years when he is allowed to drive again. Johns pleaded guilty in April. Johns served a 3-month period in rehabilitation and has since abstained from alcohol following the crash. Meanwhile, a psychologist's report prepared for the court described Johns as a deeply troubled person. His lawyer, Brian Ranch, said Johns had suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome, an eating disorder, and reactive arthritis, which has resulted in chronic pain brought on by stress, among other health conditions, since being catapulted to international fame as a teenager. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14 and Beyond Blue on 1300 224636. Absolute bedlam was the situation at Max Wake's dairy farm late on Wednesday afternoon. After a long night and even longer day, moving more than 140 cattle to higher ground as the Hunter River threatened to break its banks. Mr. Wake has been in the business for 47 years. He survived the horror 2007 Singleton floods, relentless drought and the deluge in March, but it never gets easier. By lunchtime, Mr. Wake had already moved 140 head of cattle to higher ground at the sale yards or to neighbouring properties. And of course, Singleton has been bracing for a lot of tough times, trying to quickly go up ahead. Its businesses were forced to close their doors. That includes KFC. That follows the floods. But back in 2007, it was 14.1 meters. When it was high, it almost got to their house. It was in the dairy. Over at the Hunter Regional Livestock Exchange, and hundreds of head of cattle poured in by the hour as farmers tried desperately to salvage stock. Meanwhile, Regional Manager Brock Sivers said they'd already cancelled Wednesday's sale, and it's likely Saturdays won't go ahead either. As he stood at the back of his house at Phoenix Park, serving the swollen and rising Hunter River, ripping by, John Wright was a portrait of calm. After all, John Wright has lived and farmed on this riverbank, opposite the historic village on Morpeth, for all of his 80 years, and he has seen the rise and fall of the Hunter many times. But by 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, the river had reached about 10.4 meters, according to the gauge on a pylon of the Morpeth Bridge, which is 124 years old, and like John Wright, a local legend. The mother of a 6-month-old boy who died after he suffered multiple serious injuries has denied being responsible for blood found on the baby's jumpsuit, and said she left him at a house in New Lambton with accused murderer Jai William Smith. Now, Mr. Smith, who is now 31, has pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter over the death of the baby, and is facing an estimate 4-week murder trial in Newcastle Supreme Court. The prosecution say Mr. Smith was alone with the boy between at about 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. on February the 9th, 2019, when he suffered numerous serious injuries, including a fractured skull. A dishwasher who allegedly brutally attacked a chef at the Oink Espresso bar last year, repeatedly striking the woman with a frying pan and a fire extinguisher and leaving a knife embedded in her chest, has pleaded not guilty and will face a trial in Newcastle District Court. New Zealand national Adrian Stratton, who is now 25, was represented by solicitor Robin Frazier when he appeared in Newcastle local court on Wednesday via audio vision link from a Sydney jail. He pleaded not guilty to charges of causing grievous bodily harm with intent to murder and causing grievous bodily harm with intent, and the DPP dropped charges of attempted murder and wounding person with interest to cause grievous bodily harm. Mr. Stratton, who was living at Sandgate at the time of his arrest, will next appear in Newcastle local court on August the 4th to get a trial date. Ferdy Group has confirmed what it believes to be a record sale for its Dairy Farmers Corner project, which is now approved. The $100 million proposal at 924 Hunter Street is the second 30-storey building approved in Newcastle West in as many days, with Domers, the store plans, also in green lit. Ferdy director Luke Berry said 110 of the 183 apartments has sold, including a 325 square metre penthouse for $6.5 million, a Newcastle apartment record. After the break, a magazine features traditional owners. Also, we'll have a look at the weather.
Love the outdoors but hate the insects? Then try Raid Automatic Outdoor. It's a great way to stop flying and crawling bugs outdoors. Only Raid Automatic Outdoor provides continuous protection, no hassles, no mess, and no nasty odours. Raid's breakthrough technology creates an invisible barrier that kills insects over a wide area. Enjoy the outdoors again with Raid Automatic Outdoor. What's new where you see it first?
A bottle of milk, thanks.
Low fat, no fat, full cream, high calcium, high protein soy, light skim, omega-3, high calcium with vitamin D and folate or extra dollop.
I just want milk that tastes like real milk.
This tastes like full cream milk and only 2% fat.
Paul's smarter white milk. Smart choice.
Here's a big offer from Big Pond. Get fast, reliable wireless broadband access at half price for the first 12 months on a 24-month plan for eligible customers. Hurry and call 13POND or visit bigpond.com for details.
That's $30 million. This truckload of cash could be yours. Don't miss Tuesday's whopping $30 million Oz Lotto jackpot. They call it the grader, and if you move quickly, they can save you 50 cents a litre on your petrol. Swap a $200,000 home loan to the grader, and you can save for a whole year.
50 cents a litre? You'd be mad not to swap your home loan to the grader.
Choose now from Regal Motors' even bigger used vehicle range with big 5-year warranties, and you'll get a 6-burner barbecue for free. Things are really cooking now at Regal Motors, but hurry, only for a limited time.
I shop, Wallace Bishop.
Newcastle-based Fakin magazine's latest issue celebrates the creativity of Australia's traditional owners. The Dreaming edition were put together in collaboration with Indigenous leaders in design, art and literature. It blends high-end brands and First Nations designers, featuring a specially designed masthead by hunter artist Sarata Fielding. The edition also features Indigenous model Samantha Harris, singer Jessica Malboy, and rapper The Kid Laroi. To the weather, and it was just really sunny this afternoon. Of course, despite the conditions, it was just all right. And of course, it was also okay throughout the rest of Newcastle and the Hunter, which was all right. Of course, let's have a look, and it'll be sunny tomorrow, which will be really, really good. And also, there'll be 7 to 17 for Newcastle, 5 to 17 for Toronto, and 6 to 17 for Wallsend. Now to the weather in the Hunter. It will be partly cloudy. It was partly cloudy today, but it will be mostly sunny tomorrow. The light winds are becoming westerlies, 15 to 25 kilometers an hour in the morning. Overnight temperatures falling to between 3 and 6, with daytime temperatures reaching above 11 and 16. 7 to 17 at Newcastle, 6 to 16 at Mainland, 5 to 16 at Singleton, 7 to 16 at Gosford, and 4 to 14 at Skye. Now to the waters for tomorrow. There'll be a lot of winds, westerly, 15 to 20 knots, increasing up to 20 to 30 knots in the morning, then decreasing up to 15 to 20 knots in the afternoon. There may be seas, which are of course 1.5 to 2 meters, and it's decreasing to 1 to 1.5 meters during the afternoon. The tidal informations now. There were 2 high tides. The first one is at 2:21 tomorrow morning, 1.48 meters, and there's another one at 3:26 tomorrow afternoon, 1.49 meters. There are 2 low tides, one at 8:44 tomorrow morning, which of course is 0.56 meters, and there's another low tide at 9:37 tomorrow night, which of course is 0.75 meters. The sun's coming up at 5 minutes to 7 tomorrow morning, and is setting at 5 o'clock tomorrow. The outlook for Newcastle, it'll be okay, and of course it will by tomorrow.
You need to capitalise on that now.
But of course it will be okay for the rest of the day. And of course it'll be alright for the Hunter Valley. And also it'll be right okay for Gosford and the Central Coast, which will be okay as well. And that's it from NBN News for this Thursday. From all of us here, good night.